The beasts are here, Connor, for the gathering.
That's a great intro.
Yeah,
That's
the beasts are here, McLeod, for the gathering. You can't die, you fool. You're a Maximal.
no, you can't die, you fool. You're Predacon. Because of course, the fucking frog is just gonna like be put back together.
Too much energy. Beast Wars!
Man, these things look like toys.
I don't even have a mouth, Megatron. I am transformed.
Sigma balls, Gary. Maximal! Maximal! Does that mean transform?
Trying is better than nothing, much like this podcast.
Oh, no. Not that. Ah!
Greetings, Magmatronians. Welcome to episode 102 of Too Much Energon, the weekly podcast where we talk about Beast Wars shit and talk shit about Beast Wars, coming to you live from a mysterious floating mountain somewhere hidden on planet Energon once again. I am the Siege, one of your hosts.
And it's me, NeoCal. Hello.
Hello. What's going on this week, Cal?
Just finished doing some video, some streaming for a certain charity over the weekend. That was fun.
Ah, yes, I was a spectator for that. Marred by power failure troubles.
And but you did do a donation to the Children's Miracle Network and the BC Children's Foundation, and
Yeah.
I think I was the only one that got the reference, which is how I immediately knew it was you.
Yeah, because I
You were
did
under
it.
someone else's login.
I did it anonymously. But I donated $37 and I put the name as in a row question mark.
Yeah, it was like, oh, somebody just blah blah blah, $37, and their comment was in a row. And by the time someone else mentioned that, because they're monitoring, and I was like, oh, okay, that's only one person I could possibly know.
Yeah.
And I also got I was like, my goal was 350, and I think I got to like 500
Yeah, it was like
because I was at like 380 when you donated.
yeah, it was like I think you were at like 515 or something like that is what I saw.
And 515, and then a friend, yeah, because a friend that I role play with just dropped like 100.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, during a Corvid affair, during the one where the Guy Ritchie film where we're all like UK like thugs like planning a heist, but we're crows trying to steal the royal jewels from the Tower of London.
Yeah, I when I that stream I didn't end up watching. Um but I said to Cal when I saw that it was a crow themed role playing game. I said, "Are we talking the birds, or should I start listening to The Cure?"
And I was like, yes.
But yeah, no. Even the host of the stream, friend of the show, Kelly, he's been on a couple episodes of Too Much Energon in the past. He had actually like messaged me and asked me like what it meant.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like while we were
Or,
playing?
not actually like message me like directly, but in the chat he was like at my username and he's like, what does in a row mean?
I missed that.
And I was like, it's a Clerk's joke, which it kind of surprised me that he didn't get it.
Yeah, but I guess that goes with the amount, and maybe it pops up, even though it's in USD, maybe it like popped up in Canadian. So maybe it looked like $44 or something like that.
52 actually is what I was charged.
Holy shit, man! Is our dollar
That shit, yeah, kind of is.
what the heck? USD. Oh, holy
What's-
$50, little man.
Yeah, it was 52 and change was what my $37 donation cost me.
That's well, and that's probably why they were like, oh, somebody just did like $50 because I think it was being tracked in. Was it being tracked in you? I can't
It,
remember, but
on the on-screen graphic showed 37 US dollars.
okay.
So it said $37 and it was like donated by in quotes in a row.
Yeah, as soon as someone else read that out to me, I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, that's my laser. That's the laser comb producer and my podcast co-host.
Yeah, I
And people
specifically
were like in a row, and I was like, it's 37 in a row. And then Kelly was like, oh, and I couldn't tell if he was just like starting to piece together and didn't really know. But he was like, oh, okay. But no, weird. It just goes to show listeners that the things that we view as very common like pop culture like knowledge, it is not. Turns out not everybody knows all of our knows all of our Metal Gear and fucking Highlander references.
yeah. But
Shocking. I I know.
yeah, I specifically like I specifically donated that amount to make you chuck and like I did that because I wanted to donate anonymously, but I wanted like you to get it and
I immediately got it
and find it funny.
Oh yeah, that was for right, that was for the Dungeon World
Right,
one,
right.
I think. Yeah, which power outages. We might do like makeup sessions of some of the games that were canceled. So, well, we shall see. We shall see. But yeah, I think who we're talking about is Kelly Clark. And he runs like, oh man, I think that guy is a time turner. I say this all the time, but he runs produces, edits, stars in, organizes, etc. Dork Tales, friend of the show, Kelly Clark, and all the Dork Tales gang. And he's been on the show, and we've helped them run things. 2 extra lives ago, you and I did.
I was on one thing, yeah.
Yeah, we jumped into an extra life game, and yeah, oh man, I wonder what he'd think of the madness that is Magmatron.
Funny that you bring that one Dorktail session that I was involved in up, because it was actually that because I was having a lot of video troubles, like a lot of like, input lag, like low res images. It was actually that prompted me to buy the webcam that I use now.
Same. Like I was like, oh man, it looks like I'm like and upgrade my PC.
Yeah.
One thing that bugged me during like the Dork Tales stuff was right here on Zoom. Zoom decides what resolution to save some of the the videos,
and it seems to be at random. It's either 720p or 4K, nothing in between.
Right. Yeah, and
I don't know why.
Our PCs and bandwidth like permitting or whatever, but if how we're viewing each other right now, I'm in like it's like bouncing between like 60 and 70 frames for me. Siege is coming in at least like 60ish, like maybe
30. I actually have my frame rate on my
as soon as you started doing
30.
that, you capped it, and that's probably for the best. I should probably do the same too. But no matter how I changed it, I'd look great on Zoom, right? And then I turned over and looked at the stream, and I was in like 180p. I looked like mud. And I think what's going on there is we're in the Zoom meeting, and then he's capturing it with what was that thing that we tried, but it was kind of expensive, but it looked great. I think I had showed it to you.
You had talked about it before.
What was it? Shoot, can't remember. A friend is actually one of the devs for that, Bryn. Damn it, why can't I remember what it is? But I've tried that other one they talk about often. And I think he runs it through and then OBS, and then OBS captures that. So it's kind of like he's moving windows around and like putting it, and I'm like, man, why do I? And I look, and like Kelly looks the same, and everyone else looks like derezzed, but mine specifically looked like I was filming it on like a Nokia in like McDonald's Wi-Fi across the seat from Snidler in like 2005. And I was like, fuck, that's bad. But in the very least, I know that because these aren't live, the video quality of these is going to be a little better.
Yeah, and it ends up being the same as how we view each other during the call.
Yeah. Yeah, I always forget. I should, just for the ease of data, switch mine over to 30 frames per second. Maybe stay 1080, but 30. But not now, not in the middle of a call. No.
I don't like
Very interesting.
I don't like
Pre-show.
I don't like video that's above 30 frames per second.
It's got that like movement that's almost distracting.
It's got that soap opera look to it.
Yeah, I get that.
Or like news footage, like that kind of like
Yeah.
very smooth motion. Or when you turn on smoothing on certain TVs, motion smoothing.
I know exactly what you mean. It's like moves a little bit uncanny.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get that feeling with what was it? When movies started to be in
Higher frame rates when
the
they started
Hobbit
experimenting.
did this.
Hobbit did 48 frames. Ang Lee. There
was it only 48? It felt like it was 100.
It was 48. But
that's it.
What is it? I think it was an Ang Lee film, but there was this movie starring Will Smith that came out a few years ago where he like fought like a younger clone of himself, and that,
Gemini Man.
and that was done in 120 frames.
Really?
Yeah.
Never watched it.
Neither did I. No, I never watched it either. I just remember.
Apparently it was meh.
I remember people reading people complaining about it, being like, "Oh, it looks so weird."
It seemed like kind of a copy of that Tom. What was that Cruise like sci-fi where there were like he was fighting like clones of himself? Or
I can't remember.
Sci-fi, not Edge of Tomorrow.
That's a time loop movie.
Which actually, like,
it's quite good.
It went under the radar for me, so I watched it a couple years late. What the fuck? It was really good.
There's a sequel to that in the works.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Also, it's so easy to do time. It's Groundhog Day, but fighting aliens. Anybody interested?
They should call it Edge of Tomorrow with the number 2.
They never do shit like that. But I love. It's always B movies that do
Too Fast, Too Furious.
Except that Fast and Furious franchise. Fuck, what a weird phenomenon. Fast and the Furious franchise can get away with like being cheesy B movie dialogue, cheesy B movie plot, right? It's buddy like action film.
Family.
Family. Found family kind of like bullshit, like, oh, remember this character? They were dead. Well, actually, they're alive, but they've been brainwashed so that they're the enemy. but don't worry, in the next movie, they're gonna be our ally. Like that's pretty much all the Fast and the Furious.
That's
And
comic book shit right there.
they fight. They're racing in one of the movies. They're racing in the Arctic, and they're fighting and tracking a nuclear sub that's surfacing from the ice. And they're like they jump. I think it's 2 towers in like Dubai. They jump like a sports car from one tower out and land in like the other as part of like a heist. Like it's bananas. I'm pretty sure they're going to space in one of them, and if they're not escalating it properly if they don't. Oblivion. There it is. Anyways, but that's a B movie franchise that makes like triple A fucking like money in the box office. It's S tier if you're a fan of Capcom or if you're a fan of Japanese rating games. What was it? It was Devil May Cry that has like SSS tier.
Yeah, a few things do.
Yeah. Everybody knows in Japan it's F, D, C, B, A, sometimes
plus.
double A or A plus, then S, then SS, then triple S.
Yeah.
Right, it's only the A plus that's randomly thrown in there. Can you imagine if their education system was like that? Oh, you got, son, you got an A. But you didn't get an S rank. Your sister got triple S.
Gets out of
She
wrong.
got 150%, and you got a mere 96%. No dinner for you.
Yeah, that's another thing too. Like when it's like counting like your combo meter or whatever, and it's like going by percentages, you can exceed 100%.
That's a very common. That is such a Japanese game thing.
Yeah.
No. 100% is actually like the D ranking.
Yeah.
Only losers get under 100%, and so it's like, well, that's not how percentages work. Then
Yeah.
what are you doing? It's the same thing with arbitrary like numbers. Like you play a Devil May Cry game and your base damage for your weapons is in like the double digits, and you reach like level 3 and you're dealing like triple, quadruple like digits, and it's like combo 11,962, and it's like this is in Final Fantasy where you've reached like level like 93 and you're dealing like 116,000 damage like per hit. Like stop. Like shave zeros off at some point.
Yeah, Squall just like runs up and like with his gun blade and is just like repeatedly slashing. And it's doing 9,999 damage with each hit.
It's just capping out the damage marker with each. If you played far enough where your damage caps out at the end, you're playing too long. You could have, but it's people don't want to give up the legacy. Right? Like it's people like, oh, like they're living in it and they want to experience all it has, and they've already beaten Ruby Weapon like 99 times, and what's the card game?
9,909
over 9,000 times, and in Final Fantasy VIII they've beaten all the NPCs with that stupid card game that I say it was stupid, but
I actually like it. Triple Triad, I think it's called.
Yeah. And I'm not one to talk because we're like reviewing a 2006
that music
Squall,
from Triple
and the
Triad.
villain was
Sorceress Edea.
Yeah, and the main character was Squall.
Yep.
And
Squall,
he had the gun
Rinoa.
blade. Right. I barely remember.
Zack, Cypher was another one of the villains. He was like a rival at the Balam Garden.
Oh, right.
Folks, Final Fantasy VIII just may be my favorite Final Fantasy game.
Oh,
and one that I actually go back to. I think I last played through it only a few years ago.
I wonder if they'd revisit that. Because I don't know if you've played it or any of the listeners have, but the remake, it is.
Oh,
people
the
are
remake
either
of 7.
It's completely different, but like in really good ways.
It's hype.
Fuck,
I love that Final Fantasy 7
Right,
remake.
I forgot that you've played. Yeah,
because I had a PS4 Pro at the time, and it was I had got the PS4 Pro for Spider-Man, and then a year later, Death Stranding came out, and then like 6 months later, the Final Fantasy VII
Right, man,
remake
that was
came
a
out,
lineup. That was a good time to
and I played
PlayStation
the
it.
2018 God of War game in there as well.
Yeah, you just lined up all the exclusives just like perfectly.
All the like really good ones, yeah, yeah. I was actually I found out recently that God of War Ragnarok is on PS4 as well, and it runs just fine. So I'm actually,
Like the second one?
yeah, considering maybe
Considering.
maybe getting another PS4, and then I could have
Hmm.
access to PT
You've
again.
owned so many PS4s. It just, I don't get it, man. You've had like 5 PS4s.
I'm like that, yeah. And yet, I had my launch Xbox One. I had
Oh, really?
then I had an Xbox One S, and then I upgraded when it came out. I upgraded to the Xbox One X, and then I got an Xbox Series S. So with Xbox, I've actually like kept my systems.
Upgrading to the.
Just upgrading to like the next best thing when something new comes out.
Yeah, it was Oblivion, by the way, that Tom Cruise movie I was trying to remember.
So what you're telling
Um,
me is Tom Cruise is going to run up to you and be like, "It's all over, lawbreaker."
Stop right there, criminal scum. You have violated the law. I don't even remember what Oblivion was, but I'm sure I watched it. But I've been told Gemini Man is like shitty Oblivion, which isn't good because I'm like, what's Oblivion?
Isn't Oblivion he like the Earth, like people have left Earth because of a plague or something, and then
Yes.
he comes back. Like his job is like an astronaut to like come back and see if like the Earth is habitable again.
Yes, and it has something to do with his clone. No, yes, I do I need to anyways, I really like the style of it. That white kind like everything's kind of like white and dirty. Like very NASA-ish, like kind of uh
It's like a shitty Apple store.
gritty. That's an aesthetic. Shitty Apple store. Like gritty, like how do I like uh kind of not quite, but almost like you know how everything was futuristic, but like analog dirty in Blade Runner 2049?
Yeah.
I like that feel where there's like tech, but like everything's dirty and like barely working and unclean and uh, chunky and built to last rather than like built for efficiency.
Mm.
Right. I don't know how to describe it other than like analog retro futurism. What started that?
No, I don't know.
Analog retro futurism. Or did I just make this up? Oh no, it's called retro futurism.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, I know that's the aesthetic that Fallout goes for.
I think Fallout is exceptional. And even if you don't like all the games, I think it captures that phenomenally well.
Yeah, it's like going back to like what people in the 1950s how they depicted future tech.
Yes, where it's like in the year 2000, every household will have at least one flying car, and it shows kind of like a woman with short like curled hair, right? In like a long dress, wearing the short heel, and her husband wearing the sweater vest, like smoking a pipe.
Yeah,
But then they have like
they
a
have
hover car sitting in their drive.
and like a robot servant that looks like something out of Doctor Who.
or what, Lost in Space?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like what are they called, protectrons or whatever in Fallout? Yeah, like just chunky, like very old school looking like robots, but they have like a robot butler. Never again will you have to keep up with the Joneses. For the mere payment plan of $19.99 per month, you can have a robot butler.
And people in the 50s are like, wow, 19.99 per month? This inflation's getting out of control.
Out of control. Why? I've paid off my car for less than that.
Now listen here, gosh darn it. How's a man supposed to support his family and pay his mortgage of $120 per month when he's only making $200 per month? It's preposterous, I say. Preposterous. Someone should do something.
Someone should do something. I don't know who, but someone.
It's speaking of doing something. This is episode 102 of Too Much Energon, and this week we are talking about well, we're going into comics land. We are talking about Beast Wars: The Gathering, issue number 1 of 4, which was originally released on February 15th of 2006. I remember buying this comic right when it first came out.
That's right.
It was released to commemorate the 10th anniversary at the time of Beast Wars. And the comic is written by Simon Furman, who actually wrote the series finale of the Beast Wars cartoon.
So we have him to blame.
Well, by the sounds of it, Cal is probably not as high on this comic as I am. But
I'm a mystery.
But we'll get into it. So the issue opens up with a new big baddie, a guy named Magmatron. He's
given us the rundown.
He's given us a
summary.
He's giving us a monologue of like, because someone asks him like, "Hey, why did you choose here to like where did we go back in time?" And he's like, "To where it all started. Right when that fateful day when the Maximals and Predacons crash landed and the Maximal commander, our man Gary, decided to hit the eject button on all of the stasis pods and launch them into orbit. And now this is our chance.
He is.
Because now this is our chance for victory."
And so right away on screen, he's like a big, like strong, tough guy. And he's made out of the Loch Ness Monster, Megatron, and Pterosaur.
Yeah, he is a combiner.
And the face and everything, I wish he was more original. He looks like shit, man. He looks like a mess.
Yeah, the toy is not great looking either.
Like it's cool. Like I like the build. I like the beak comes down and the claws like close like a rib cage, and the claws on the top are there. And I like the idea of a head there, right? And like, but like, why not make him Pterosaur and Megatron? Why not make him like new creatures?
I mean,
I understand that some of these are Japanese Beast Wars, where like gloves were off when it came to like those. They did like whatever. But
yeah, these are all based on characters from the Japanese Beast Wars cartoon.
This guy's a fucking mess. And he talks like, I pictured his voice being like, "Except that we, of course, have no intention whatsoever of engaging the renegade." Like a more try-hardy like Megatron, and
yeah, a little more cool, a little less Shakespearean Megatron,
but more verbose. He uses big words for the sake of using big words. I'll point them out as we go, and
So
like,
we
what
got
was it? Yeah. Oh, anyways, and Razor Beast's here. We got a bunch of fucking Predacons and Razor Beast.
Yeah, so Razor Beast is here. In the background is Armadillo, Iguanus, Spitor,
Transketo,
and Man Terror. Now,
Terror.
I recognized almost all of these characters because I had toys of all of them except Magmatron, Spitor, and Transketo. But all the other ones I had toys of when I was a kid. So I'm like, oh, hey, it's Armadillo. Hey, it's Iguanus. Hey, it's Razor Beast. Hey, it's Man Terror.
Which one's Man Terror? Is it the
green
Manta?
one. Yeah, it's the Manta Ray.
Mantis?
Or not Manta Ray.
The Manta Ray. No,
the praying
he shows
mantis.
up later.
He does show up.
Oh yes, everyone's favorite Maximal.
Well,
Death Charge.
he's not ours, but he is actually a pretty fan favorite character.
Right, you've said that before, and it just goes in one ear and explodes out the other. I'm like, no, not possible. But people do like badass renegades.
They do, and the 90s was the era of the gruff, like, tough guy.
Punisher made a comeback. Fucking yeah, gruff tough guys were everywhere.
Yeah.
Remember that show with Arnold Schwarzenegger where like he was a comic or in like a movie and there was like a magic ticket?
The Last Action Hero.
Yeah.
I loved that
was
movie
that?
when I was a kid. That was 1993.
Yeah. That was definitely a movie of its time.
I own that movie on Blu-ray.
Yeah, of course you do. I haven't seen it since I was like 10. Like it's just hanging in there. But I remember that whole like, oh, like reality doesn't work like it does in like movies, and that whole kind of like that play on the villain being happier in the real world, and like Arnie
right
not being happy in the real world. And
yeah, because like
in the real world, like the good guy doesn't always win. And right,
yes, Jack, see, here in the real world, bad guys can win.
Yeah. Who played the villain?
He's someone noteworthy.
I can picture him in my head, like the actor and the different movies he was in.
The Last Action Hero.
Was he in Dreamcatcher too? No, he wasn't. I'm thinking of someone else.
Charles Dance.
Dance. Is he Tywin Lannister? He is.
Oh, hey, cool. I knew I'd seen him in other things.
Because I was like, wait, am I mixing up two people? And I'm like, is that Tywin? Yeah. Fucking great actor.
Oh, yeah.
I Google his name and it shows him like in the ocean. Fucking paparazzi, man. Right? And he's like coming out and I'm like, holy fuck. That guy looks badass. Even with the dad bod, even with like balding and everything, it's like, you don't want to get in a fucking fight with this guy. And then it shows like presumably like his wife, and it's like, not bad.
So we got Magmatron and the
played by Tywin Lannister. You know what? In my head, he's
yeah. There we go.
We go.
I was struggling to find a character voice in my head for for Magmatron.
Once the activation signal is broadcast, I want in situ real-time reports. Vector coordinates will be streamed direct to your network proto-servers.
Yeah, there's
Take a compass, point each.
There's quite a bit of technobabble in this issue.
Blah, 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 once and for all. Transmitter array. I like Razor Beast is like, yeah, gotcha. Cool. On it. Like he's just minimal effort. And I'm like, feel you, Razor Beast.
So we got what's explained to us is that this band of Predacons is in chronal chronal phase. So they're slightly out of phase with by a couple of nanoclicks, they said. They're slightly out of phase with the rest of the Maximals and Predacons on planet Energon that we know and love. So they can't see them because they're just like in a slightly different like phase. I don't know.
They're a couple of nanoclicks phased off. So they're chronically displaced, which means that they don't. So they can affect them, but the time, it's bullshit. It's Borg. They're invisible to the Borg.
But the rest of the Maximals and Predacons can't see them. But for some because they're out of phase, but for some reason they can see them, like Magmatron.
It's Borg. bullshit, bullshit, right?
Borg shit.
Right. Anyone listening that's not zero of you, I guess. Like at this point, why are you listening to us if you're not a Trekkie? But like we've reviewed Star Trek in our other podcast, the Lasercomb podcast.
Yes.
But yeah, there's very often like a, hey, we're going to hide our like biosignature with blah blah blah, and that way the Borg can't see us, and that's what's going down here, I guess, because depth charge just happens to come out of the ocean right next to magmatron and drill bit.
And
He uses the term in situ, which is an archaeology term. Did you catch that?
yeah, I had
recognized it.
I had no idea what that meant.
Oh, it means, I haven't heard this since college. Back when I had dropped out of taking anthropology, in situ or in situ. I've heard people say in situ. I don't think it's pronounced like that. But anyways, it kind of means as is, to leave things in the place of which you found them. And with archaeology, the best thing for you to often do is to leave things as they are so that they can be studied better and like archived properly and pictures taken before you move things and go down in a deeper. And when somebody moves an artifact from something and then it's dug up and then it's moved around and it's like stolen and then it's in a British museum and the original site is lost and all of that stuff, the site is important to the discovery of something. So when he's using an archaeology term here, I'm like, okay, so he doesn't want to disrupt the timeline. He's like an archaeologist, like in situ, we're going to leave everything as is and just go out. And then he's like, ha ha, I'm stealing the Maximals. And I'm like, then why were you afraid of, ooh, the butterfly effect, ooh, any plant we crush or any bug we kill could change the, what? So right away, I'm like, you're contradicting your own comic. You're like, oh, geez, oh, don't touch or change anything. And then 10 minutes later, he's like, haha, the Beast Wars, once and for all.
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't even have a problem with that. That's like the least of my problems with Beast Wars. We've done so much Beast Wars and Beast Machines that it's just like, yeah, that makes sense. Like this is logical at this point. We just finished reviewing Kingdom, and this is like a 2 out of 10 in terms of like plot hole. But anyways, it turns out he's doing a little sneak of his own. He's supposed to come and bash Megatron on the head, bring him back to the Tripredicus Council.
Yeah.
And bada bing, bada boom, the renegade. Hey, that was a renegade, and we dealt with them. Maximals, don't worry, everything's cool. Because as in Beast Wars, the Tripredicus Council wants to bide their time, and in a certain number of years or decades or whatever, like strike when it's proper. And Galavar got done fuck all that up.
Yeah, and
Right?
Magmatron seems to be like he acts like he's on board with this approach by the Tripredicus Council.
Meanwhile, he's secretly assembling.
But as soon as he leaves the room, he starts like shit talking them about how like they're cowards and we need to act now, not later. So he got them to send him to back in time to planet Energon to capture and deal with the renegade Megatron once and for all. But he's actually like going there to steal all the stasis pods and use them to create his own private.
He doesn't give a shit about the Beast Wars.
Yeah.
He wants to create a private army, go back, and fuck the Maximals up in his timeline, right?
Yeah,
Maybe?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and
okay.
Meanwhile, Razor Beast, who we know is a Maximal, was put on his team as a spy by my man, Lio Convoy.
As soon as I saw him, I'm like, it's our boy, it's our man. Lio Convoy, and he's like, hey, Razor Beast, it's very spy shit. It's like, you are not under employment by the Maximals, and should you be discovered, your involvement in blah 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 has nothing to do. You don't exist. This conversation never took place. And he's like, gotcha.
Now,
And it's like,
now
and if
at
you
this
have to,
at this location, you will find a dead drop of fake papers and a cyanide capsule, in case you're captured.
this message will self-destruct in 10 seconds. And he looks up at Lio Convoy. He's like, but you're giving me the message. Oh, shit, abort.
Beast mode.
Beast mode. So that gives us some privy. But yeah, Lio Convoy's like, yeah, a dude like Magmatron doesn't hang up his like plasma rocket launcher and join like a political council because he wants peace. He's gathering shit. So you need to infiltrate that.
And
And somehow he's trusted with the programming of this device. What is it? A long range like transmitter, some kind?
I was gonna say TF Wiki. No, not Transformers Wiki. Come on, have standards. I'll only go to the TF Wiki for info about Transformers shit. Again,
Yeah, if you want the real that meme with what's his name, where it's just like, no, I meant like the real Transformers Wiki. No, the real one. Perfection.
Oh yeah,
TF Wiki is with who's that actor?
Michael Fassbender. It's from X-Men First Contact.
Yes, thank you.
X-Men.
No,
First
I meant
Class.
the real wiki. Perfection. I should make that meme.
Yeah, there you go. So okay, so what was I looking up?
Razor Beast.
The real enemy sits on the bipartite committee for state affairs, which is that group of dudes hanging out. So we got Lio Convoy's on there. We got Magmatron on there. We got Big Convoy.
Where is he? Oh, you're on the wiki, right?
Yeah, we have a character named Bigmus.
Big, aka Big Chungus,
who turns into he is a redeco of Transketo.
Bigmus?
Yeah. And finally, rounding out this council is Heinrad, which quite literally, and I'm looking at a picture of the toy right now, transforms into a tanuki with a clock in its chest. Or on its stomach, rather.
A tanuki. He's on page... Yeah, he's on page 13.
Yeah, look up Heinrad. I am not shitting you here.
What?
This is like this
Transformer Heinrad?
Yeah, Heinrad. This is the stupidest looking toy I've ever seen.
He's on page 13.
Yeah.
When sits on the bipartite committee for state affairs.
Yeah.
What the this looks like a Yu-Gi-Oh! Like Time Wizard shit. Oh wow, this thing looks fucking dumb.
Right. You're looking at the toy specifically?
Yeah, at the toy.
This is the stupidest looking Transformer I've ever seen. And there are some stupid looking Transformers out there.
Like is he a watch or a compass? He's a clock.
He's a clock.
Yeah, he's a working clock, people, and a compass. Ah. Because you need can you imagine being a kid and like walking around and like using the compass and checking the time? This is wild.
Can you imagine being a Cybertronian and putting this guy on your security council?
Oh, you're just asking for trouble. No. Whoa, hey, whoa.
Oh, whoa.
Hey, whoa, whoa.
Anyway, so Razor Beast uses this device. He like sets up a transmitter to use this device to bring all the stasis pods down and activate them. He basically like pulls like what a Tarantulas did with Inferno, but on a mass scale.
Which makes me wonder how. Like what? Why? Plot reasons. Okay, whatever. I can move past that. Yeah.
Basically, yeah. I didn't
Whatever.
question it too much. I'm just like, yeah, okay.
You can't. It's robots in disguise. You can't question it. Here we go. I got my new background for the doesn't quite fit. Whatever.
I like the pose. He's doing the Hulk Hogan pose.
Yeah. But yeah, but because we now got a glimpse into someone being an undercover agent, we know that maybe he's not reprogramming them all as Predacons.
But he reprograms some of them to not arouse suspicion. But the first time one of them comes out,
did he?
Yeah, because a few of them, the first few of them came out as Predacons.
Maybe he,
But then, as soon as the first one that actually like awakens as a Maximal is Polar Claw, which is cool. He was a neat toy back when I was a kid. Immediately, Magmatron and his cronies are like, traitor! And I'm like, and Razor Beast is like, haha, fuck you, and runs away.
Transforms into a boar and like kicks Drillbit in the face, like seemingly almost killing him. And he's like, catch you next time, losers.
And I'm like, why wasn't he just like, oh shit, something must have gone wrong. I told you this.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
But they immediately were like, unless Magmatron was immediately like, that damn fool who, aha, Razor Beast, get him. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, so we got a bunch of Maximals waking up from all these stasis pods. We got Wolf Fang, we got Cyber Shark, we got Polar Claw. Who else have we got? Skipping ahead.
Yeah, who else? Yeah, I was gonna ask you. I was like, do you recognize all of them? Because let me tell you,
one of the Predacons that wakes up is Snapper. I recognize that one.
Which one is that?
He's the green turtle dude.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Let's see who else we got. So we got Polar Claw.
Which one of them are Preds?
All of the ones on page 18.
Page 18. To me. 13.
Yeah, so
Predacon. Oh, you're right, because it's like nano regeneration complete. Sensors confirm it's a Predacon. And there's like a horned. Okay, yeah, Predacon. And then like a lizard one wakes up. Predacon. And there's like a.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm seeing. Right. Okay. Really well animated, the beast forms of like Razor Beast and all of them. Like they're good at making animals and giving them expressions and stuff.
Yeah, so we got Polar Claw, we got Cyber Shark, Optimus Minor.
Optimus Minor? Oh, is that the
one eating the banana?
The banana. I was gonna ask. I was like, Primal Junior.
Yeah, he's basically Lio Junior.
Okay.
Is it Longhorn or Bighorn?
Bighorn, yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the bison. Right.
Yeah, here's Wolfang.
Looks like we got some. Here we go.
Looks like we got some Fusors.
Yeah, there's definitely Fusors. There we go. There you go, Siege.
Nice.
This is my new spirit animal. This is my favorite Maximal, the Tanuki compass watch, known as
Heinrad.
Heinrad.
Because
a Japanese animal. Let's give him a German sounding name.
Yeah. So
there's a hyena. Is there a hyena there? See next to like Bighorn, or what is that?
That looks like I don't know actually.
But anyways, on the page that you're like checking out, I really like this. Fucking Razor Beast kind of like goes to the edge of a cliff, like Lion King style, and he's like, "Won't last a megacycle on my lonesome. It's time to gather the clan." And I fucking actually laughed. Like parts of this actually really redeem it for me. He opens his mouth. By the way, he's like a realistic looking boar. It's not like the Transmetals where they're look like an animal but clearly a robot. And
Yeah.
the idea of like just a boar opening its mouth and this like fucking Doctor Octopus like Doc Ock thing coming out of its fucking mouth, and he goes snaroo, and I'm like, I guess that's the sound a boar makes. SNROOO. Snaroo. And then it continues on the next page, ROOOWWLL. And so in my head, I'm just picturing him going, Snaroo, Snaroo. And I'm like, I love Snarools in the morning.
Well, apparently the Maximals also love the sound of snarls.
Because all across the planet, I guess, for plot reasons, all across the planet, they go, my people need me. And they hear this snarl, toaster snarl.
Yeah. And yeah, so they answer the call, and the Predacons, I guess, hear this too, and they're like, oh shit, it seems like Razor Beast is like amassing an army of his own. What are we gonna do? And Magmatron splits apart to go to beast mode, and he's like, I say, unleash the Beast Wars.
Yeah, but with the 3 different parts.
Yeah.
Then I guess we have to, and he becomes like 3 different beasts, which again is just like Pterosaur, Megatron, and then like the Loch Ness Monster.
I never really thought of that, but especially looking at this last page now, that is basically what he is.
Yeah. It's time to unleash the Beast Wars once and for all, for Magmatron never goes back on his word. You damn fool. Or what was the joke? What was that joke you made earlier?
I can't remember. Something about it's the time of the gathering, McLeod.
It's time for the gathering, McLeod. It's time for the gathering once and for all.
The beasts are gathering, McLeod.
You fool. And so rereading through this and talking about it and joking about it with you, it's not that bad. Like I actually really dig the Art of the Beasts.
Yeah,
it couldn't have been done better, honestly. Like we were joking about friend of the show,
the colors of this
Josh Burcham, but
where he was the colorist on this, right? Josh Burcham.
Yeah.
A friend of the show. So he ended up actually doing the full interior art for the 2021 Beast Wars comic, which we'll get back to.
Oh, we'll get back to. Which we have different opinions of.
Yeah.
But the coloring on this, the line art of this, like funky storyline aside, like this is pretty fire, man. Especially on like page 8 where like Magmatron is like looking down and you see all the parts of him. Like so much work and care like went into this, and it's like this is pinnacle artistry, I think. So say what you want about, for me, say what you want about like the story or whatever, but it's like, well, what do we do with the Beast Wars? Let's introduce a third faction and just fuck shit up. Just a whole bunch more Maximals and Predacons come out. And it's like, oh, okay, I'm on board. Especially with Razor Beast being a main character. Right. Hell yeah. So, and he's just this little like pig running away from Magmatron, and Magmatron's like, ooh. And I'm like, chase after him. He comes to his knee. Like, yeah. It shows Lio Convoy talking to Razor Beast at some point, and he's 4 times as tall. And indeed, Magmatron is fucking gigantic too. And it's just like this boar like hoofing it through like the tall grass. And I'm like, you can fucking chase him, dude. But it's like he has a flashback to Lio Convoy, and it's like, hey man, if things go south, just run, man. Just fucking run. And and he does. But I really like him going out onto the cliff, all noble and mighty, and being like, Snaroo! So
Well, so on that note, that's the end of the issue. And here on Too Much Energon, we rate at this point just about anything on the Too Much Energon scale, which ranges from not enough energon to a sufficient amount of energon to too much energon. It's basically bad. Okay, good. Cal, what are you gonna give? What are you gonna give Beast Wars: The Gathering issue 1?
I am giving it a sufficient amount of Heinrad. What is the fucking pose? It's kind of like
He's doing the Hulk Hogan.
he's kind of doing the Hulk Hogan there. It's, am I being harsh? It's like, what more could I ask for? Right? Like, am I just being pessimistic of Beast Wars in general now? Like, could I have asked for like anything more? Because they probably needed to use certain amounts of characters, and it's bringing the Japanese canonical Beast Wars characters into like the Western Beast Wars characters. You know what? I'm giving it just hits too much energon. Just enough
Oh.
happens that it's interesting enough, and I'm basing it off the media itself too, right? Because not every we try to review things in a bubble, right? And I think the art is fucking fire. And I found out this guy exists. And little tiny like plot holes aside, it doesn't waste any time, which is the problem I have with a lot of comics. I'm like, you only got like fucking 20 pages, my dudes. Please make things happen, right? And things happen. So it does. It hits too much energon.
Right.
Just a tiny bit. Like I gotta change back into beast mode in a couple minutes. The levels of energon.
I think I'm going to. I was leaning toward a sufficient amount of energon, but I think it's going to get a very slight too much energon from me as well.
Same. It just teeters over into.
My biggest problem with this issue is and we talk about things like nothing happening in stories. Nothing really does happen.
No,
and
but it moves the.
And there's a lot of like exposition dumps, especially early in the comic. Like,
and
lots
I understand
and lots.
it has to do that to an extent. But do you feel it was wasted? Like, do you feel like we didn't need that much? It almost feels like we did.
I just feel like there was a more elegant way to convey the backstory and convey the plot than just
telling
like,
us,
just like full on like flashbacks, just full of like an entire page of like text, like giving us exposition and backstory.
On that note, you know what? I would have preferred if it's like, hey, you don't need to tell me why Razor Beast. Here's the thing. I don't think the flashbacks with Razor Beast telling us that he was double crossing them was necessary, because it shows that he did that.
Yeah.
And it could have showed later a conversation with the Flash, like stretch out the background.
Yeah.
Like when Razor Beast is fighting someone in issue 2 or whatever, then let us know that he had joined them because Lio Convoy had asked him to, right? Like stretch it out, right? Because it's obvious and apparent in his actions that he betrayed Magmatron. But before he does that, the comic tells us that he will.
Yeah.
And I'm with you. That's very valid criticism. It doesn't need to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let the story happen. And whenever you're right, it does that twice. It takes away the mystery twice.
Yeah.
Or a couple times throughout like the comic. It's just like, oh man, what's going to happen here? Fuck you. You don't need to know why Magmatron's here, because we're going to tell you.
Yeah, and we can tell you eventually and organically, like down the road.
I'm with you there. Thanks for pointing that out. You don't need to like, wouldn't it have been more interesting if we don't know why the fuck he's here?
Yeah, and especially like even if you're like familiar with who Razor Beast is, and you're like, hey, he's a Maximal. Why is
Then
he
why is
helping
he?
why
Yeah.
is he helping Magmatron? And have him actually like maintain the facade for longer. It would have it.
And I understand we got what, 4 issues of this? Even if you
Yeah,
didn't maintain the facade longer, the reader knows Razor Beast. Most readers would know Razor Beast is a Maximal, and so be like, And so then when he betrays them and reprograms a bunch as Maximals before taking off, you'd be like, aha, it was all a ruse.
and yeah,
Um,
yeah, and then we can find out later that he's actually like working for Lio
but the
Convoy, and
issue, yeah, exactly. The issue takes away the aha
yeah,
and kind of just spoon feeds it to you. Oh, don't worry, he's still good. It's like I don't need to be told that Razor Beast is a Maximal because you're
yeah. So to just
that's fair.
to
That I think that's
summarize,
very valid.
the pacing of the issue is clunky.
Clunky. Yeah.
Um, and but I am still on board enough that I'm going to maintain my very slight too much energon rating.
Mm-hmm. Slightly. Like just enough to juice us up to go kick Megatron's ass.
And on that note, that has been episode 102 of Too Much Energon. If you want to support the show, go to patreon.com/lasercomb, LAZORCOMB. At the single $5 Gary tier, you get preamble audio, you get commentary tracks, you get our news show, Lasercomb Tonight, and you get to pick a show for us to review a random episode of on our other podcast, the Lasercomb Podcast. So patreon.com/lasercomb to get in on that. Follow me on Twitter. I'm at Lasercomb, spelled the same way, or you can follow the show uh, proper on Twitter at Too Much Energon. And Cal, you are at.
Whew. I am at. Oh wow! It is snowing outside a lot.
Again.
Yeah.
It was snowing here earlier.
It's November 7th, and it is snowing up a storm.
Snowvember.
Outside. Yeah, it's November. Doesn't happen.
Here, no, not usually. Doesn't usually
I
snow.
don't think it's ever snowed in. No, maybe once over the last 12 years.
Yeah, it usually snows around Valentine's Day. Like
Yeah.
I actually was like I kept track of it. I started noticing this because I would like every time it would snow, it would be around like the middle of February, and I'd take a picture of it and post it to Instagram.
Yeah, months after like Christmas. And
Yeah,
sometimes I think like one year it snowed like right before Christmas or on Christmas or something like that. But not in
last
November.
last year it snowed right after Christmas because I remember on I think it was the 30th of December I went to see Spider-Man Spider-Man No Way Hombre in theaters and it was
Right.
snowing that day.
When you yeah. But yeah, snow aside, I'm like one of the few people in Victoria that like snow. In the city where I am, everyone else is like, "Oh my God, shut it down." Even my friends are like, "Oh, how could this happen? I hate it. I feel isolated." And I'm like, "Sweet, less people on the road." Because I actually have decent tires and I actually know how to drive in the snow. So keep it coming because less people out there means better for me. But yeah, you can follow
In the
me.
in the
Me and
the
my snow
cold
adventures.
the
Sorry, go
cold
ahead.
snow the cold Snowvember rain.
I I hope so. Hope it just stays snow. But yeah, if you want to see my snow adventures and my who's the polar bear Maximal?
Polar Claw.
If you want to follow Polar Claw's adventures, yeah, follow me at NeoCal on Twitter, NEO_KAL.
We will be back. Oh, and also, if you're listening to this on iTunes, please give us a 5-star rating. I check that about once every year or so in Apple Podcasts.
We have some
Connect.
funny reviews.
There's someone in the UK who, and I tweeted about this, but someone in the UK actually tweeted, "I'm not familiar with the shows in question, but this podcast is funny."
Can you even imagine? somebody like listening to us like from episode 1 all the way through, and it's like, I've never watched these shows.
It's like,
It's
I
a
don't
funny
even-
review. They're probably fibbing, but
Yeah.
if you're listening to this and you're the mad lad that legitimately doesn't know what we're talking about, but listening all the way through, email us, tell us like why, because
Yeah, send an email to
that's
too much
wild.
energon@outlook.com.
yeah, that's wild to me. And yeah, with that, and
yeah.
our Tanuki friend,
But yeah, please leave us a 5-star rating and write a little blurb on iTunes. Would mean a lot. We'll be back next week with episode 103 of Too Much Energon, where we're going to be talking about Beast Wars: The Gathering, issue 2 of 4. And until then, I've been the Siege, one of your hosts.
and I'm NeoCal.
And until next week, I say unleash the Beast Wars.
It's time to unleash the beast wars once and for all.
Bye-bye.